Never trust a clown who smiles too much. Because behind that painted grin lies a chilling secret, waiting to be unveiled. Tonight, we're diving into a tale so unsettling, it will make you rethink every encounter with a clown. If you dare. Let's begin. Our story follows David, a young man with a knack for adventure. He was always seeking thrills, and nothing seemed to scare him. But his latest venture would test his courage in ways he never imagined. David decided to explore an abandoned amusement park, infamous for its eerie atmosphere and tales of a sinister clown. The locals spoke of strange happenings and ghostly sightings. David wasn't one to believe in ghost stories, so he packed his camera, flashlight, and a sense of bravado, and set off for the park. As he approached the entrance, a chill ran down his spine. The amusement park, once a place of joy and laughter, now stood in ruins. Rusted rides, broken stalls, and overgrown weeds greeted him. The air was thick with a sense of foreboding. David took a deep breath and stepped through the entrance. The sound of his footsteps echoed in the silence. He made his way to the old carousel, its once colorful horses now faded and chipped. As he snapped pictures, he couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. He turned around, but saw nothing. Shrugging it off, he continued to explore, unaware of the danger that lurked in the shadows. He made his way to the funhouse, its entrance adorned with a faded, grinning clown face. The paint was peeling, giving the clown a grotesque appearance. David hesitated, then pushed open the door. Inside, the funhouse was dark and musty. Broken mirrors lined the walls, and the floorboards creaked with every step. David's flashlight cast eerie shadows, adding to the sense of unease. Suddenly, a faint, high-pitched laugh echoed through the funhouse. David froze, his heart pounding. He scanned the room with his flashlight, but saw nothing. The laugh sounded again, closer this time. David took a step back, bumping into a distorted mirror. His reflection was twisted, his face stretched into a grotesque grin. He quickly turned away, his nerves on edge. Then, out of the corner of his eye, he saw movement. A figure darted past a row of mirrors, too fast for him to get a good look. David called out, "Who's there?" but received no response. Determined to uncover the source of the laugh, he pressed on. The funhouse seemed to twist and turn, leading him deeper into its maze-like corridors. The laughter grew louder, more sinister. As he turned a corner, he stumbled upon an old clown costume. It was tattered and stained, with a creepy, painted grin on the mask. David picked it up, examining it closely. Suddenly, the laughter stopped. The silence was deafening. David's pulse quickened, as he sensed a presence behind him. He spun around, coming face to face with a clown. The clown's painted grin was unnervingly wide, its eyes dark and hollow. It stood perfectly still, staring at David. For a moment, neither of them moved. Then, the clown's grin widened. David took a step back, but the clown followed. It moved with an unsettling grace, its eyes never leaving David's. The air grew colder, and the smell of decay filled David's nostrils. He turned and ran, his footsteps echoing through the funhouse. The clown's laughter followed him, high-pitched and maniacal. Every turn seemed to lead him further into the labyrinth. Desperate to escape, David burst through a door, and found himself in a small, dimly lit room. In the center of the room stood a large, antique mirror. The frame was ornate, adorned with intricate carvings. David approached the mirror, his reflection staring back at him. But as he looked closer, he noticed something strange. The clown was behind him, its reflection grinning menacingly. Panicked, David turned around, but the room was empty. He looked back at the mirror, and the clown was gone. He took a deep breath, trying to steady his nerves, but the fear was overwhelming. He knew he had to get out of the funhouse. Gathering his courage, he retraced his steps, hoping to find the exit. The laughter continued to haunt him, echoing through the corridors. Finally, he saw the entrance in the distance. He sprinted towards it, his heart pounding with relief. But just as he reached the door, it slammed shut, with a deafening bang. David was trapped. The laughter grew louder, more mocking. He turned around, ready to face the clown, but the funhouse was empty. The only sound was his own heavy breathing. Determined not to give up, David searched for another way out. He found a small, hidden door behind a curtain. It led to a narrow, dark passage. With no other choice, he squeezed through. The passage was claustrophobic, the walls closing in on him. David's flashlight flickered, casting eerie shadows. He moved quickly, hoping to find an exit, before the clown found him. As he reached the end of the passage, he emerged into a large, open room. The walls were covered in disturbing, childlike drawings of clowns, all with wide, painted grins. In the center of the room stood a dilapidated stage. An old spotlight flickered on, illuminating the figure of the clown. It stood motionless, its grin seeming to mock David. The clown's voice echoed through the room, a mix of laughter and menace. "Welcome to the show, David. We've been waiting for you." The clown stepped forward, its movements fluid and eerie. David felt a surge of anger and fear. He grabbed a nearby wooden plank and brandished it like a weapon. "Stay back!" he shouted, his voice trembling. But the clown only laughed. The clown moved closer, its eyes dark and soulless. David swung the plank, but the clown dodged effortlessly, its laughter growing louder. It seemed to revel in David's fear. Desperate, David looked around for anything that could help him. He spotted a row of old, dusty bottles on a shelf. He grabbed one and threw it at the clown, but it shattered harmlessly. The clown's grin widened, and it lunged at David. They struggled, the clown's grip cold and unyielding. David fought with all his strength, but the clown's laughter was overpowering. In a final, desperate move, David grabbed the clown's mask and ripped it off. To his horror, there was nothing beneath it. The clown dissolved into a cloud of darkness, leaving David gasping for breath. The room fell silent, the oppressive atmosphere lifting. David knew he had to leave the amusement park immediately. He stumbled out of the funhouse, his mind reeling from the experience. As he made his way to the entrance, he saw a group of people approaching. They were a mix of curious locals and paranormal enthusiasts, drawn by the park's dark reputation. David warned them about the clown, his voice filled with urgency. Some listened, their faces pale with fear, while others scoffed, thinking it was just another ghost story. Determined to uncover the truth, David returned to the park the next day, this time with a group of friends. They explored the funhouse together, documenting their findings. They discovered that the amusement park had a dark history. It was once a popular attraction, but a series of tragic accidents and mysterious disappearances led to its closure. The clown, once a beloved entertainer, had become a malevolent spirit, haunting the park, and preying on those who dared to enter. The friends encountered strange occurrences and unsettling phenomena, but the clown remained elusive. Despite their fear, they continued their investigation, determined to find a way to put the clown's spirit to rest. They consulted local historians, researching the park's history and the clown's past. They learned that the clown had been a talented performer, but a tragic accident during a performance had left him disfigured and mentally unstable. Consumed by rage and despair, he had taken his own life in the funhouse. The friends believed that the clown's spirit was trapped in the park, driven by a desire for revenge. They decided to perform a ritual to cleanse the park and free the clown's spirit. The ritual involved gathering specific items, including a piece of the funhouse mirror, a token from the clown's past, and a personal item from one of the victims. They also needed to recite an incantation during the full moon. As they prepared for the ritual, strange things began to happen. The clown's laughter echoed through the park, and they experienced disturbing visions. The atmosphere grew tense, but they pressed on, determined to succeed. On the night of the full moon, they gathered at the funhouse, their nerves on edge. They set up the items and began to recite the incantation. The air grew colder, and the clown's laughter filled the room. Suddenly, the clown appeared, its eyes burning with rage. It attacked, but the friends stood their ground, continuing the ritual. The clown's form wavered, its grip on reality weakening. With a final, desperate effort, they completed the incantation. The clown let out a piercing scream and dissolved into a cloud of darkness. The oppressive atmosphere lifted, and the park seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. The friends knew they had succeeded. They had put an end to the clown's reign of terror, and the amusement park was finally at peace. Word of their success spread through the town, and the once abandoned park became a place of interest for paranormal enthusiasts and curious locals. But for David and his friends, the experience had left a lasting impact. They had faced their fears and come out stronger, but the memories of the clown and the funhouse haunted them. They often met to discuss their experience, finding solace in each other's company. Months later, David returned to the amusement park alone. He wanted to see if the cleansing ritual had truly worked, and if the park was now free of the clown's presence. As he walked through the gates, he couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. The park was still in ruins, but the oppressive atmosphere was gone. The rides and stalls were silent, but they no longer felt menacing. David made his way to the funhouse, its entrance still adorned with the faded, grinning clown face. He hesitated, then pushed open the door. Inside, the funhouse was just as he remembered, dark and musty, with broken mirrors lining the walls. But the sense of dread was gone. The laughter that had haunted him was nowhere to be heard. David walked through the corridors, memories of his previous visit flooding back. He reached the small room, with the antique mirror, and stared at his reflection. This time, there was no clown behind him. Relieved, David left the funhouse and made his way to the exit. As he walked, he thought about the friends he had made, and the journey they had shared. The experience had brought them closer together, and given them a new understanding of the supernatural. David knew that he would never forget the clown, and the terror it had caused. But he also knew that he had faced his fears, and emerged stronger. The amusement park was now just a place, a part of his past, and he was ready to move forward. As he reached the gates, he turned back for one last look. The park stood silent, a testament to the power of courage and determination. David smiled, knowing that he had played a part in its story. If you enjoyed this terrifying tale, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more spine-chilling stories that will keep you up at night.